The surge in Omicron cases over the last month is having a direct impact on the nation's labor market, and it could put a damper on Friday's employment report, too. Steve Leisman joins us right now with the Back Barometer. And Steve, the December numbers are going to be important, but it'll probably measure before things really kicked in with the highest levels of Omicron, too.
Well, actually, Becky, funny you say that. Because of the high-frequency data, we can actually see it week by week. Omicron creating challenges for the economy for sure. It's already, in fact, showing up in the high-frequency data and could be seen in the official data as soon as this Friday. I'll tell you why in a second. But unclear at this point how deep or how widespread the effects of this variant will be. Burbio, as of last night, counting more than 1,300 schools closed nationwide, among other things that could reduce the availability of workers. The HR software company UKG, it sees job growth in the survey period down 1.7% compared to the previous month. I'll come back to that in a second. And airline passenger traffic still off 15% compared to before the pandemic. Now, UKG says the impact of the virus on jobs showed up actually in the first week of December because they can measure it week by week, and it's continued to increase during the month. The weakness from Omicron suggests that consensus at 400,000 jobs, well, it could be a little bit too optimistic. You'll see, though, it missed the last strength, did not show up in the BLS report. Now, one factor for the weeks ahead, school closures. Their numbers are rising quickly. The Burbio map, which you see here, shows their focus now in the Northeast and in the Midwest. Zoom in there, guys. You can see that. But local officials, what's happening now, they're trying to keep schools open. So they're testing before they're closing. But closures could spread with the virus if those tests come back positive for teachers and students. Short-term shutdowns, probably little effect on labor supply. Doesn't help, though, an economy that is starved for workers right now with 12 million open jobs. Now, airline passenger traffic, 15 to 20% now below the pre-pandemic level amid widespread flight cancellations. You heard that in the last hour. But, hey, it's not getting worse, and even we've seen a little improvement despite the flight cancellations in just the past couple days. We'll have to watch that. Little doubt Omicron is a challenge to the economy, and the effects are showing up in the data already. Now, the question is whether the economic symptoms end up ultimately being mild, like the variant seems to be itself. So, Becky, we can track this week by week. Remember when we used to wait like a month after the final month that passed to get information on what was going on in the economy? We can do it week by week, in some cases day by day. I'm just looking right now at the J.P. Morgan credit card spending. That's trailed off as well. So we're definitely seeing an impact, but now you got to layer in your view of, well, how bad is this virus? Ultimately, how much does it lead to a decline in labor supply or a decline in hiring?
You know, we had Marty Musi on earlier, and he was talking about small business numbers, what they're paying in terms of big pay hikes to try and get people into the job, do the jobs. His point was, with the child tax credits not being renewed because Build Back Better was never approved, maybe that means people will have to come back into the workforce whether they want to or not if they're not getting that $300 to $600 a month for kids.
Yeah, that could be a factor as well. But, you know, here we are, a situation, Becky, and I think you know more than others the effect of these potential school closures. Now, it's not huge right now. If you take them, look at the map again, it's Northeast and Midwest. Sorry?
I was going to say, I can't imagine school closings or anything like what we had seen in the past. Just based on my own experience, what I've seen around here, schools are really reluctant to close. Public schools, you can't force people to test, so you can offer testing, but it's optional and nobody has to take it. And from what I've seen with all the local school boards around here, they are extremely reluctant to close. Maybe they'll change their minds once we get into this, but again, some of the rules that they've put up, they know that Omicron is spreading. They know it's an issue, but they're coming up with things like, okay, put your mask up between bites.